Imagine preferring scandal over serenity. That's the shocking claim made by Jennie Bond. Let's delve into this unsettling revelation. Jennie Bond, royal commentator known for her insider scoops, recently made a startling statement. She claims that William and Kate, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, would rather have Prince Andrew as a neighbour than Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Yes, you heard it right, Prince Andrew, a man currently embroiled in a scandal that has shaken the very foundations of the monarchy. This is the same Prince Andrew who, due to his alleged involvement in a notorious scandal, has been stripped of his royal duties. The palace, in an attempt to distance itself from the controversy, has removed him from public duties, and he's lost numerous patronages and military titles. This is the man that Jennie Bond suggests the Cambridge couple would prefer as a neighbour. It's a claim that's as baffling as it is disturbing. Contrast this with Harry and Meghan, a couple who chose to step back from royal duties in pursuit of a peaceful life, away from the relentless scrutiny of the public eye. They sought to create a life centred around their own values and ambitions, away from the constraints of the palace. They stepped into the unknown, prioritising their mental health and the well-being of their family over royal tradition. Yet, the idea of having them as neighbours is allegedly less appealing to William and Kate than living beside Prince Andrew. This isn't just a case of neighbourly preference, it's a stark reflection of the skewed values and priorities that persist within the royal sphere. It's a potent symbol of the ongoing bias and prejudice that Harry and Meghan continue to face, simply for choosing to carve out their own path. So, the question stands, why would anyone prefer disgrace over decency? It's a question that casts a long dark shadow over the palace, and one that we cannot ignore. It's a tale as old as time. Forgive the privileged man, demonise the independent woman. Consider the audacity of the situation. Prince Andrew, a man embroiled in a scandal that has rocked the royal family and the world, is somehow seen as a more desirable neighbour than Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex. It's a comparison that's hard to swallow, considering the stark differences between the actions of these individuals. Let's take a moment to examine the values that Meghan Sussex has consistently championed. She's been an unwavering advocate for women's empowerment, pushing for gender equality and inspiring countless women around the globe. Her work in education has been equally impressive, tirelessly advocating for equal access to quality education for all, regardless of their socio-economic background. Meghan's humanitarian efforts cannot be overlooked either. She's used her platform to shine a light on issues often left in the dark, from poverty and inequality to mental health. She's shown time and again her commitment to making the world a better place, not just for her and her family, but for everyone. Yet in the eyes of some royal commentators, all these efforts are overshadowed by Meghan's decision to choose peace over palace politics, a decision that, in any other circumstance, would be applauded for its bravery and integrity. But because Meghan Sussex is the one making this decision, she's painted as the villain. She's held to an impossible standard, criticised for every move she makes, while the actions of Prince Andrew are conveniently overlooked. It's a glaring hypocrisy that unveils a bias deeply ingrained in the narrative spun by those close to the palace. A bias that forgives the privileged man while demonising the independent woman. A bias that values proximity to scandal over proximity to integrity. Yet, somehow, Meghan Sussex, the advocate of empowerment, is the problem. It's a question that leaves us baffled yet painfully aware of the hypocrisy at play. The contradiction doesn't just whisper, it echoes loudly, unveiling a troubling prejudice that's hard to ignore. This isn't commentary, it's coded bias. These words echo in our minds as we delve deeper into the labyrinth of royal PR and media narratives. What we see is not simply a matter of preference for neighbours, but a glaring reflection of deeply entrenched bias against Meghan and Harry. A bias that is not only unjust, but also perpetuates harmful narratives and stereotypes. Remember, this is about Meghan, a woman who has championed causes such as women's empowerment, education, and humanitarian work. And Harry, a man who has served his country and has shown resilience in the face of relentless media scrutiny. Yet they are the ones being sidelined, while the man at the centre of a disturbing scandal is deemed a more comfortable neighbour. This, my dear listeners, is the bias we're talking about. The media has always been a powerful tool, shaping perceptions and influencing public opinion, and in this case, it has been used to unfairly cast Meghan and Harry in a negative light. Terms like Megxit and narratives of them abandoning duty have been splashed across headlines, painting them as the villains of a story that's far more complex. But let's not be fooled. This bias is not a reflection of Meghan and Harry's character, but rather it reveals the toxic culture within the royal PR machinery, a culture that favours preserving the image of the monarchy over truth and fairness. A culture that would rather vilify a woman who chose peace over palace politics than address the real issues at hand. This bias, it's more than just unfair, it's harmful. It fuels division, it perpetuates stereotypes, and it distracts from the real issues. It's a game of smoke and mirrors, where the truth is obscured and those who dare to stand up for themselves are vilified. Jennie Bond's statement doesn't expose Meghan, it exposes the rot in royal PR logic. The bias isn't against Meghan and Harry, it's against anyone who dares to challenge the status quo, who dares to be different, who dares to choose peace over palace politics. When you would rather live next to disgrace than decency, the issue isn't your neighbours, it's your morals. This statement echoes louder than any royal declaration or press release. It's a moral question that begs to be asked. We're not dealing with mere real estate preferences here. This is a matter of moral judgment, of discerning right from wrong, of choosing between disgrace and decency. What does it say about the values upheld by those who would choose proximity to scandal over peace? It's a matter of principle, not preference. Let's delve deeper into the paradox. The royal family, an institution that claims to uphold the highest standards of morality and dignity, seems to have a skewed preference. It's not about who lives next door, but about who they consider acceptable and who they don't. It's about the message they're sending to the world, about what they value and who they deem worthy of their company. On one hand, we have Prince Andrew, a man embroiled in scandal, stripped of royal duties and shamed on a global scale. Yet he's seen as a more acceptable neighbour. On the other hand, we have Harry and Meghan, a couple who chose peace and freedom over royal constraints, who advocate for women's rights, education and humanitarian causes, yet they are deemed less desirable. This isn't just about a neighbourly dispute, it's a moral question. It's about what we choose to accept, what we choose to reject, and what we choose to turn a blind eye to. It's about the principles we uphold, the values we cherish, and the standards we set for ourselves and the world. In the grand scheme of things, the question isn't about who lives next door. It's about the moral compass guiding our choices. It's about the disconnect between the actions of the royal family and the values they claim to uphold. It's about the murky waters of morality in which they seem to be wading. If proximity to scandal is preferred over peace, then the issue lies deeper than mere preference. And that, dear listeners, is the moral question we're grappling with today. So if William and Kate don't want Meghan and Harry as neighbours, that's fine. Let's take a moment to reflect on the bigger picture here. Meghan Markle, a woman of colour who's been under the microscope from the moment she stepped into the royal limelight, has consistently shown her worth through her actions, not her royal status. Meghan has pushed boundaries, broken barriers and shattered glass ceilings in a way that no other royal has ever done before. She's made it her mission to use her platform for good, advocating tirelessly for women's empowerment and education. She's championed humanitarian causes and used her voice to shed light on issues that others might shy away from. Meghan has shown that she is not defined by the gates of a palace, but by the strength of her character and the depth of her convictions. And despite the relentless scrutiny and the ceaseless criticism, Meghan continues to remain a significant figure in the global conversation. She sparked discussions about race, about mental health, about what it means to be a woman in the public eye. She's challenged us to question our preconceived notions and to re-evaluate our own biases. So, if the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge would rather not have such a progressive, forward-thinking individual as their neighbour, that says more about them than it does about Meghan, because while they may choose to distance themselves from her physically, they cannot escape the impact she has made on the world and the conversations she continues to inspire. In the end, Meghan Sussex doesn't need royal gates to prove her worth. She doesn't need the approval of the palace to validate her actions. She's already made her mark on the world stage, and her influence stretches far beyond the confines of the royal family. Because Meghan Sussex is living rent-free in the global conversation. And clearly in their minds too.